Welcome to Senior Relationship After 60. Have you noticed something unexpected happening in your social circle lately? Perhaps a widowed neighbor just announced a new relationship, or maybe you felt a flutter of attraction yourself and wondered if it's appropriate at this stage of life. Here's the truth that surprises many. Falling in love after 60 isn't just common, it's actually happening faster than ever before. While society often portrays romance as something reserved for the young, millions of seniors are discovering that the heart doesn't retire with age. In fact, many are finding themselves swept up in feelings they haven't experienced in decades, sometimes within weeks or months of meeting someone new. This isn't recklessness or desperation, it's something far more profound. If you've ever questioned whether these feelings are normal, or if you've held back because you thought love at this age should be slow and cautious, what you're about to discover might completely change how you view relationships in your golden years. In the next few minutes, you'll understand exactly why so many people over 60 are experiencing romance in ways that feel both exhilarating and surprisingly swift. This isn't about being impulsive or making poor choices. There are genuine psychological and emotional reasons behind this phenomenon that researchers and relationship experts have been studying extensively. First, we'll explore how life experience creates a unique form of emotional clarity that younger people simply don't possess yet. Then, you'll discover why the concept of time itself shifts dramatically after 60, influencing how we approach new connections. Third, I'll reveal the surprising role that self-acceptance plays in opening your heart faster than you ever thought possible. And finally, we'll examine how past relationship experiences, both good and difficult, actually accelerate the bonding process rather than slow it down. Each of these reasons builds on the others, creating a perfect environment for love to flourish quickly and authentically. By understanding these four factors, you'll not only make sense of your own feelings but also gain the confidence to embrace them without guilt or second-guessing. Whether you're currently exploring a new relationship or simply curious about this chapter of life, this knowledge will transform how you see romantic possibilities after 60. Picture this. You're at a community gathering, and someone introduces you to a charming individual who shares your love of gardening or classic films. You exchange phone numbers, start having coffee together, and within a month, you're thinking about them constantly. Suddenly, adult children express concern about how quickly things are moving. Friends raise eyebrows and warn you to be careful. Even you might lie awake at night wondering if you're being foolish, moving too fast, or setting yourself up for heartbreak. This internal conflict is something thousands of seniors face daily. Society has created an unspoken rulebook that suggests older adults should approach romance with extreme caution, take years to grieve past losses, and certainly never display the kind of enthusiasm typically associated with younger couples. You might feel torn between the genuine joy this new connection brings and the nagging voice suggesting you should slow down, be more practical, or focus solely on family and existing friendships instead. Some worry that investing emotionally at this age is risky. What if health issues arise, or what if you're misreading the situation entirely? Others carry guilt, feeling disloyal to a late spouse or anxious about disrupting established routines and family dynamics. The pressure to conform to these expectations can be suffocating, leaving many seniors questioning their own judgment and suppressing feelings that could lead to profound happiness. Meanwhile, the calendar keeps moving, and the opportunity for companionship and intimacy feels increasingly precious. This tension between what your heart wants and what others expect creates a painful dilemma that deserves honest examination. Let me share what happened to Nadine, a retired school librarian from Oregon who had been contentedly single for 8 years following her divorce. At 63, she had built a comfortable life centered around her book club, volunteer work at the local animal shelter, and weekly video calls with her grandchildren. Romance wasn't even on her radar. She'd convinced herself that chapter had closed permanently. Then she met David at a fundraising event for the shelter. He was a retired veterinarian who had recently moved to the area to be closer to his daughter. They struck up a conversation about a particularly anxious rescue dog, and David offered some behavioral insights that fascinated Nadine. They exchanged contact information purely to coordinate about the dog's care. What surprised Nadine wasn't just that they started meeting for lunch. It was how quickly she found herself sharing things she'd never told anyone. Within 3 weeks, she was opening up about her failed marriage, her regrets about not traveling more, and her secret dream of learning to paint landscapes. David listened with an attentiveness that made her feel truly seen for the first time in years. By the second month, they were inseparable, and Nadine's daughter expressed serious concerns about the pace of the relationship. Nadine herself felt confused by the intensity of her feelings. She'd dated in her 20s and been married for 35 years, but this felt different, deeper yet somehow simpler. She kept asking herself why this connection felt so immediate and consuming when she'd always considered herself a cautious, methodical person. The speed of it all both thrilled and terrified her, leaving her wondering if something was wrong with her judgment or if perhaps something was finally going right. Reason number 1. The first reason seniors fall in love faster after 60 comes down to something psychologists call emotional efficiency. By this stage of life, you've accumulated decades of relationship experience. You know what matters and what doesn't. You're no longer distracted by superficial qualities or caught up in games and uncertainty that consume younger daters. When you meet someone who demonstrates kindness, reliability, and genuine interest, you recognize these qualities immediately because you've spent years learning their value the hard way. There's no need for lengthy evaluation periods to determine if someone is worth your time. You've developed an internal compass that quickly identifies compatibility, and more importantly, incompatibility. This isn't about lowering standards. It's about having clearer, more refined standards based on real-world experience rather than fantasy or societal expectations. Think about how you approach other decisions now compared to your younger years. You probably no longer agonize over restaurant menus or spend hours debating paint colors. You've learned to trust your instincts because they're informed by a lifetime of choices and their consequences. The same principle applies to matters of the heart. You can sense within a few conversations whether someone shares your values, respects your boundaries, and brings out positive qualities in you. You're not trying to mold someone into an ideal partner or waiting for them to change. You're simply recognizing whether the fundamental elements of a good relationship already exist. Additionally, you've likely shed many of the insecurities that once complicated relationship decisions. You're no longer worried about impressing others or maintaining a certain image. This authenticity allows connections to deepen rapidly because both people are showing up as their true selves from the very beginning. There's no pretense to maintain, no carefully crafted persona that eventually crumbles. When two people in their 60s meet and connect, they're meeting as fully formed individuals who understand themselves. This self-knowledge creates a foundation that would have taken years to build in younger relationships where both parties were still discovering who they were. The acceleration you're experiencing isn't recklessness. It's the natural result of wisdom meeting opportunity. Your ability to recognize a genuine connection and act on it without unnecessary hesitation is actually one of the greatest advantages of finding love at this stage of life. Reason number 2. The second reason involves a fundamental shift in how you perceive time itself. After 60, most people develop what researchers call a heightened present moment awareness. You become acutely conscious that tomorrow isn't guaranteed, and this awareness doesn't create fear, it creates focus. Every meaningful conversation, every shared laugh, every moment of connection carries more weight because you understand its preciousness in a way that younger people simply cannot. This isn't morbid thinking. It's a realistic appreciation for the value of now. When you were younger, you could afford to take relationships slowly, to waste months or even years in situations that weren't quite right, always assuming there would be plenty of time later. That luxury no longer exists, and paradoxically, this limitation becomes a gift. This time awareness transforms how you invest emotionally. You're less likely to hold back your feelings or play it cool because you understand that authentic connection is rare and shouldn't be squandered through unnecessary caution. If you feel joy in someone's presence, you express it. If you appreciate their companionship, you show it. This directness accelerates intimacy because both people are operating without the artificial delays that characterize younger romance. You're not following some arbitrary timeline about when it's appropriate to introduce someone to friends, to plan trips together, or to discuss a future. Instead, you're following your genuine feelings and the natural progression of a meaningful bond. There's also a significant reduction in future anxiety. Younger couples often slow themselves down worrying about career compatibility, where they'll live in 10 years, or whether their life goals align perfectly. While practical considerations still matter, seniors typically have more settled circumstances. Retirement plans are already in motion, housing situations are established, and personal priorities have crystallized. This clarity eliminates countless sources of hesitation that might otherwise delay commitment. You're not building a life from scratch together. You're inviting someone into an already established life, which requires less time to navigate. Furthermore, the awareness of mortality, not as something frightening but as simple reality, makes trivial concerns fall away. Arguments that might have consumed days in a younger relationship get resolved in hours because you both recognize that life is too short for unnecessary conflict. Forgiveness comes easier, patience runs deeper, and the willingness to prioritize the relationship over being right becomes second nature. When you combine this time consciousness with genuine compatibility, love doesn't just happen faster, it happens more purely, uncluttered by the anxieties and projections that complicate romance at earlier life stages. Reason number 3. The third reason centers on something profoundly liberating: complete self-acceptance. By 60, most people have made peace with who they are. You've stopped trying to become the person you thought you should be and started embracing the person you actually are. Those extra pounds, the gray hair, the wrinkles, the quirky habits, they're no longer sources of shame or things to apologize for. This deep acceptance of yourself creates an entirely different dynamic in romantic relationships. You're not entering a connection hoping the other person will validate your worth or complete some missing piece of your identity. You already feel whole. This means you're choosing a partner from a place of genuine desire for companionship, rather than from need or desperation. When both people in a relationship have achieved this level of self-acceptance, vulnerability becomes effortless. You're not terrified of showing your true self because you've already accepted that self, flaws and all. If someone doesn't appreciate you as you are, it's disappointing but not devastating. You're not depending on their approval to feel okay about yourself. This security allows you to open up quickly without the defensive walls that younger people maintain. You can admit your fears, share your past mistakes, and reveal your insecurities without worrying that doing so will drive the other person away. And when your partner does the same, you receive their vulnerability with compassion rather than judgment because you understand that imperfection is simply part of being human. This self-acceptance also eliminates the exhausting performance aspect of early relationships. You're not trying to appear more successful, more energetic, or more socially connected than you actually are. You're not strategically timing your responses to text messages or pretending to enjoy activities you find boring. The energy that younger couples waste on impression management gets redirected into genuine connection. You can admit on a second date that you prefer quiet evenings at home to crowded social events, or that you're not interested in trying skydiving or learning to surf. This honesty creates rapid intimacy because you're building the relationship on truth, rather than on carefully curated versions of yourselves. There's also freedom in no longer caring what others think. You've likely spent decades worried about parental approval, peer judgment, or social expectations. By 60, most of that concern has evaporated. If your friends think you're moving too quickly, or if your adult children express reservations, you can hear their perspectives without letting those opinions override your own judgment. You've earned the right to make your own choices, and you're finally comfortable exercising that right. This independence allows the relationship to develop at its own natural pace, rather than being artificially slowed by external pressures. The combination of knowing yourself deeply and accepting that self completely creates ideal conditions for love to take root quickly and flourish authentically. Reason number 4. The fourth reason is perhaps the most counterintuitive. Your past heartbreaks and disappointments actually accelerate new love rather than hinder it. Every failed relationship, every loss, every moment of loneliness has taught you something invaluable about what truly sustains a partnership. You've learned that passion without respect eventually crumbles, that shared values matter more than shared hobbies, and that someone who listens is worth more than someone who simply talks well. These lessons aren't abstract theories anymore. They're deeply embedded wisdom that guides your choices automatically. When you meet someone who demonstrates the qualities your experience has taught you to treasure, recognition is instant and powerful. Consider what you know now that you didn't understand in previous relationships. You've learned that conflict doesn't mean incompatibility. It means two people care enough to work through differences. You understand that love isn't constant fireworks but rather a steady warmth that sustains through ordinary days. You recognize that a partner who remembers small details about your life, who asks about your doctor's appointment or your grandchild's recital, is showing love through attentiveness. These insights allow you to appreciate gestures and qualities that you might have overlooked or undervalued decades ago. You're not chasing an idealized fantasy of romance. You're recognizing the real thing when it appears. Past grief, particularly if you've lost a spouse, also contributes to this acceleration in unexpected ways. Having loved deeply and lost, you understand that love itself is never a mistake, even when it ends. This knowledge removes the fear that often keeps people emotionally guarded. You're not afraid to love again because you know that the pain of loss, as difficult as it was, didn't diminish the value of what you had. In fact, many widowed seniors report that their capacity to love actually expanded through grief. They developed greater empathy, deeper appreciation for life's fragility, and a clearer understanding of what makes time with another person meaningful. When they open their hearts again, they do so with a depth and intentionality that creates powerful bonds quickly. Your relationship history has also taught you practical skills that smooth the path to intimacy. You've learned how to communicate needs clearly, how to offer apologies sincerely, and how to provide comfort effectively. You know when to give space and when to step closer. These are skills that younger people often spend years developing within a relationship, learning through trial and error. You arrive with them already intact, which means the early stages of romance, often rocky for younger couples, flow more smoothly. Small misunderstandings get resolved before they become major issues. Different communication styles get navigated with patience rather than frustration. Finally, having experienced both good and troubled relationships, you've developed a sophisticated understanding of red flags versus minor quirks. You won't confuse someone's occasional grumpiness with fundamental unkindness, or mistake their need for alone time with emotional unavailability. This discernment prevents you from sabotaging promising connections over issues that aren't actually problems. Your past hasn't made you cynical, it's made you wise, and that wisdom allows you to embrace love swiftly when it deserves to be embraced. So what happened to Nadine and David? They stopped questioning the speed of their connection and started honoring what it represented. Two experienced souls recognizing something real. Nadine eventually had a heartfelt conversation with her daughter, explaining that falling in love quickly didn't mean she was being careless. It meant she finally understood what she was looking for. Today, they've been together for 3 years, and Nadine describes their relationship as the most honest and fulfilling she's ever experienced. Not because it's perfect, but because it's built on a foundation that only comes with age. Clarity, authenticity, and appreciation for the present. Her story isn't unique. It's happening in communities everywhere as seniors discover that rapid love isn't a warning sign of poor judgment but rather a testament to accumulated wisdom. The speed isn't the problem. It's actually the solution. You're no longer wasting precious time on uncertainty or fear. You're finally equipped to recognize genuine connection and courageous enough to embrace it fully. That's not being reckless. That's being beautifully, powerfully alive. Your heart hasn't lost its ability to love deeply. It's gained the ability to love wisely and without hesitation. If you're experiencing feelings that seem to be moving faster than you expected, trust that your heart knows what it's doing. The years haven't made you impulsive. They've made you perceptive. Every relationship you've navigated, every lesson learned, every moment of self-discovery has prepared you for exactly this. The ability to recognize something valuable and embrace it without apology. Age hasn't diminished your capacity for romance. It's refined it into something more honest and immediate. Don't let doubt or outside opinions convince you to slow down artificially when everything inside tells you this is right. Life after 60 isn't about playing it safe. It's about finally having the wisdom to know when to take the leap. If this resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more honest conversations about relationships and life after 60. Share this with someone who needs permission to follow their heart, regardless of what anyone else thinks.